Welcome to the Hope Youth Podcast. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. I'm your host, Michael. And I'm also your youth pastor, and I'm also stumbling over my words a lot already. So this is gonna be a fun night. But thankfully, I have a co-host tonight who's gonna introduce herself.
I'm Emma, and I'm the co-host. On this video podcast, we're going to be interviewing people about their life, faith, and youth. So you can join us, sit down, relax, and listen.
And today's guest has a tattoo, has 3 dogs, 1 cat if I'm counting correctly, and she lives at a campground of all places. So that's a pretty rad life. So take it, Emma.
Okay, so Jeanette, how's life been going?
It's different. I am an essential service, so I work a lot right now. So getting to the swing of learning how to do this technology. I don't do videos, so this is all new to me. This is great. I'm loving it.
Nice. I work at Save On, so I guess I'm an essential service, so that's fun. How are you coping with COVID since we're all stuck at home?
Well, I'm not stuck at home because I have to be at work. I'm
Yeah.
the manager, so I am there 7 days a week right now, dealing with everyone, covering shifts. So it's actually more work for me. It's stressful, and
Yeah.
I can see it working with customers. So just trying to stay upbeat, chatting with people online, trying to see people from a distance as much as I can. But so yeah, it's not going that bad for me yet, but we'll see how it goes.
Do you have any coping habits, like buying bulk things of candy from Costco like I've been doing or anything?
There's been a lot of candy buying because I live at the campground. We have a store, and I get chocolate milk and candy and lots of toilet paper, so it's all good.
Lots of toilet paper. That's important.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was gonna ask, do you feel like your sugar consumption's gone up or down since you were a youth?
My what?
Your sugar consumption, your candy.
Oh, my sugar consumption?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say it stayed the same. I've always been a sweet tooth, and I always ate a lot of sugar. Now, as an adult, I can just buy more sugar when I need it. So, maybe gone up a little bit, actually.
Fair.
The last few weeks, yeah.
That's definitely true of me. Just having the freedom to buy my own sugar, not good for me.
No.
But jumping back to when you were a youth, big picture, how would you describe your relationship with God as a 13, 14, 15-year-old?
Oh, it's a few years back. I would those early high school years. I would say my relationship with God was very up and down. It was the years my mom got diagnosed with cancer, so I was fighting God with that. But then I had a great group of friends who they understood. None of them were Christians, but I was able to talk with them about it, and they didn't mind me talking about it. And so I was able to was able to understand why people maybe didn't understand God. And then I did actually bring 2 of my friends to church, and so they started coming. I think sometimes struggling as a youth, my friends saw that I still had faith and then wanted to see why. And so it was really good, actually.
That's a really interesting tie together. The next question we had down was actually asking about how you handled being a Christian and going to school and just the relationships around that. What was that like for you?
Like I said, it was good. I didn't have a lot of Christian friends. And then because I joined youth group, and made sure I connected with people my age that did believe in God, and that we were able to sit down and have discussions. Because being in the really non-religious school, it was really hard to kind of see your faith kind of grow in that. I was just making sure I connected outside of school as well, just to make sure that I stayed strong in my faith.
Yeah, like looking back in retrospect, do you feel like you balanced that really well, or would there be things that you would adjust to balance of like Christian friendships and non-Christian friendships and where you're investing your time?
Um, I I think a lot of the times they were very separate. Like I definitely had my Christian friends at youth and then my non-Christian friends at school. Um, so yeah, it probably wasn't as balanced as maybe like looking back. I probably should have tried a little more to get some of my friends to come with me, but um, yeah, it was quite the difference sometimes. But like I said, a few friends did come with me once in a while. So
That's awesome. Do you have any questions that you want to ask out of that, Emma?
I think it's really interesting that your like hard times kind of helped people come to God, because a lot of people would kind of think like badly about their experiences, but kind of like what you were going through like helped your friends see what you were doubting and how you could kind of like figure it out together. And I think that's really cool.
yeah, yeah, it was really nice. Like I said, I struggled sometimes because it was hard, but the more like I realized that God was in it with me, my friends saw that, and so it was really good.
What were the key things that really made you realize that God was in there with you? Because oftentimes I see people go through hard times. I've gone through hard times myself, and so oftentimes we are like, I don't feel like God's present. I feel like God's just left.
Um, I think the big thing for me was just there's little subtle signs that I would be like, oh my goodness, I'm all alone in this. Like it's super hard. And like one little thing, like out walking the dogs, like a bird would come by that you're like, oh, like that's what me and my mom would look at. I'm like, oh no, like God's watching and he sent that bird to make me feel better. And like just small little things that you can see that, that like you would be thinking about something and then it would happen. Or like I was like, oh, this song would make me feel better, and it comes on the radio. So it was just sometimes little things like that that made me realize that God's listening and does always try to make you feel better and is in it with you.
Wow, that's cool to hear. And there's part of your life that I picked up bits and pieces of, but it's a little bit of a mystery to me. I'm sure it's a mystery to a lot of people that they don't know the story. So you're a youth, you're living in Surrey, you're going to public school. Now you are working and living in this area again, you're a youth leader. But between those two things, you spent some time in Alberta, you had some adventures. Want to just share with us like some of that saga and anything that might stand out there?
Oh, it was quite the saga. That's a whole long story. It was interesting. Moving up there, whole new group of friends. My biggest struggle up there was finding a church that I felt connected in. I ended up becoming really good friends with one girl who took me to her church, and I did kind of connect with people there. But yeah, it's very different lifestyle. Not as many Christians. There's a lot of partying. Just yeah, church was kind of not frowned upon, but most people didn't go and kind of looked at you strangely if you went and just like didn't want to be your friend. So yeah, it was a little bit different, but there was a lot of fun times and a lot of hard times, but it was great.
Yeah, kind of connecting to that. How have you kept faithful to God in hard times, like kind of being in a community that you don't really know how, or like friends or people that you don't know how they connect with God? Yeah, how have you kept faithful to God during those hard times?
Um, During those times when like I felt like there wasn't a lot of friends and stuff. Whoa, sorry. I did a lot of stuff on my own, so I would watch our church service online. One of my favorite things to do is just grab my guitar, play some music, or just blast some music out in my truck and sing along some worship songs. So staying connected like that, reading the Bible. I'm not a huge I have a hard time just sitting and reading the Bible. I find it hard to focus. So I find other ways, praying. Like I said, lots of music. Music is kind of my connection. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, how does that connect to like right now with COVID and like everyone's kind of panicking and it's like kind of a scary time? How do you think that we can be encouraged by like reading the Bible or praying or music? Yeah, how do you keep faithful through that?
Through that, I would say there's been a lot of sitting down and praying at work. A lot of music. I've actually found a station that plays the odd worship music. So when those come on, I just like crank up the music, sing along, and like all my like coworkers are like, "Oh, that's a weird song," and I'm like, "It's a Christian song, and it's great." And now they actually know some of the words to them, and it's awesome. So I found that like if we can just like brighten the mood a little bit at work, just like singing and having fun. My coworkers have mentioned that they like can see like it's stressful, but they're like, "You're always smiling," and it's great. I'm like, yeah, God will watch out for us and, sing some songs. It's great. We can do it. We can make it through.
Yeah, that's really cool. How do you like stay engaged with God, like through devotionals or with friends or just praying? Like, how do you kind of remind yourself to stay connected?
Like I said, for me, it's very much music. I always have a worship song on in my truck, and whenever I'm just feeling down or I need to connect to God more, I just will go for a drive and just sing. I'll pull out my guitar and sing. I'll look at the Bible. I'll do a daily devotion. Just something to get out there. I also walking my dogs since I have 3. Like I said, the small things, seeing a bird flying through, a new flower blooming right now is watching the flowers bloom. There's still life. We're going to make it through. It's just little hints like that that kind of keep me going and keeping my faith in God strong.
Yeah. With that, what's your favorite Bible verse? Like, how does it encourage you? Why is it your favorite? And like, how do you think it applies and connects to your life?
So my favorite Bible verse is Jeremiah 29:11, which is, I'm going to read it here. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. That one's been my favorite. I would have been 12. I did my profession of faith, and that's the Bible verse my parents chose for me to be my Bible verse of what they thought kind of fit my life at that time, and it kind of has always fit. That God's always there with you. There's always a future, no matter what's going on. He has a plan, and if we just trust in Him, that plan will be revealed at some point, whether we see it now or not. There's a future in it, and we just have to trust that He'll get us there. So yeah, that's always been my favorite Bible verse.
Yeah, I really like that one too.
It's been really cool hearing you share about some of your different experiences, and it's really interesting just how much it came out, the way that you relate to God, connect with Him, and how much God's used that to influence the world around you. I wanted to ask you right now, like, what do you feel like is influencing you? Like, are there shows you're watching, books you're reading, stuff you're listening to, particular friends that might be just having a really big impact on your life right now?
I think there's definitely a couple songs. I can't even think of the names of them. I can like hear them in my head that have made a huge impact on kind of my day. A great group of friends, definitely. Yeah, just being able to knowing that they're there whenever I need to talk. That has been a huge influence. I have a couple new friends that have been great just to talk with. So yeah, it's again, music is my life. So
Yeah.
through music and good friends is how I stay connected.
Okay, if we come up with what the songs actually are, I'll add them in the show notes. And with the friends, like, are there any particular things you look for the friends that you want to be close to you and let influence your life?
Looking for in friends are just people who are strong in their faith or are at least willing to talk about it and maybe come to church. And then having friends who are caring and want to hang out, and yeah, just people who kind of have the same values as me, and being able to get outside with them and walk. We can't do that right now, but video chat and pretend we're walking. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. Finally, like, yeah, we're getting to the point of wrapping this up, but do you have any other thoughts you want to throw in there? Anything that you want the youth of our church to hear?
I would say just life is hard sometimes. I've definitely had my fair share of trials, and I just want to encourage you guys to remember that God's always with you. You have friends, you have your youth leaders, your youth pastor, million people in church who are more than willing to help you through it. And just believing that you can get through it is kind of the greatest thing I got as a youth. And having great youth leaders to help me through was like, it was amazing. So yeah, just stay strong.
Okay.
And then get my dog.
Thanks, Jeanette, for answering all our questions and being on here. And thanks to everyone for listening and taking the time to listen to our questions and Jeanette's answers. And I hope everyone enjoyed. So, good night.
See you guys.
Night.